So we looked at, last week we were looking at the arrangement view, which you can see when you click the little button up in the top right corner. And that's the one that's kind of familiar to us from using Logic. It's a linear timeline. The other view that is in Ableton, if we click the vertical 3 bars there, that's the session view. And this is the non-linear one. And this is one of the more interesting parts about Ableton. It's the one that's quite good for songwriting, because you don't have to write out and drag and drop a whole structure of a song. You can just kind of jam it out. I'll give you an example of that. I'm going to go and get some audio loops, so just going to, because they're nice and easy to play around with. So on the left-hand window, we've got places here. There's a user library, some packs, the current folder. We can also add a folder. We've got a bunch of samples on the hard drive, so I'm going to add that folder so I can get to them quickly. So add folder. Let's go to desktop. Oh no, they don't appear on the desktop. Click on that button there, which allows us to get to the shared drive. Student resources, sample libraries, and I'm going to choose the Pro Tools loops. Open. So it's added a folder just there. It may appear empty at first. That's because currently Ableton in the background is scanning that folder. If we go away from it and then go back in, we'll probably start to see that it starts to populate that list. Let's use something in the world. It's found some world stuff. Start off with percussion. Go through, what have we got? Indian. There's probably some quite nice stuff in here. That's quite nice. I'm going to grab that, so I'm just going to pick it up and drop it onto the grid, and it appears as a little box with a play button. And when you press the play button, it starts playing back the sample, and it will keep playing it back until we press one of the stop buttons underneath it. Let's get some more samples. What else? Drag and drop. What else? Great, so I've grabbed a few more in. What we'll notice, let's play the first one here. Zoom in. Notice that we can only have one clip playing on each track at a time. So that's one of the key things in Ableton, only one at a time. If we want to play them together, they have to be on different audio tracks. Notice that it doesn't matter when I click it, it won't actually start the sample until the next musical point to drop it in. So if we listen to that, and you can immediately start, you can really play it, you know, it's not like dragging boxes around, it's more like, it feels like making music. And that's one of the things I really love about Ableton's workflow, is that it feels more like you're actually playing rather than shuffling boxes around on a screen. It can all be done in real time. In fact, Ableton, often their selling point is that you never have to press stop and rewind and listen back. You can just start making music and never have to stop and keep just adding stuff in real time. The Pro Tools loops is filling up nicely now. Let's get some East Coast beats in there as well. And it might be, I'm going to stop all the loops. I'm going to record a little jam now. The way I'm going to record it is by pressing record up here. And then I'm just going to sort of mess around and I'll show you where it records to. So let's hit record. Cool, so recorded a little jam in there. Where did it go? Well, we were playing here, but where it records it, if we flip to the arrangement, it's recorded our arrangement, so we can just jam out. We no longer have to fiddle around with boxes and move them around. We can just feel it out and play it, and the arrangement will appear on the arrangement page. It's grayed out at the moment. If we want to actually listen to that, we just have to press this little button, which is called, if you look down in the window here, it's called Back to Arrangement. Then we can rewind, listen back. Oh yeah, it starts with a gap. If I want, I can just grab everything, move it. Same as in Logic, you can just select all, draw a box around things, move them around. Nice. Now it's time to have a little mess around with it yourself. So things you can do here, a little reminder, add a folder, go look for the loops, which you'll find it if you look on the computer shared student resources, sample libraries. If you want, you can just add that whole folder, sample library. There's various bits and bobs in there. And that will add it as a shortcut. Don't worry if nothing appears at first. Ableton actually scans through everything and gradually adds it. So every time you move away and go back onto it, you might see it will start to add folders in there.
Where did you find the loop? Sorry, it's a computer.
Yeah, so in the
shared section.
Yeah, look for your. It's in the shared drive on.
Oh yeah.
In Finder, you sort of have to either click on that little logo. It will be the number of your computer.
Pro Tools.
Shared. Student resources.
Oh.
Sample libraries. And bits and bobs in there. There's acapellas as well. BBC sound effect collection. Technotrance essentials. So you can just add the folder. Yeah, it'll be empty for a little while because Ableton scans that.
Oh, right, okay.
So give it a few minutes, go back in, and you'll start to see stuff appear. Yeah, and then try dragging and dropping loops from your folder here onto the session. And then try pressing record, having a jam by starting and stopping clips, and checking it out on the arrange page. It will record your jam as an arrangement. If you deviate from the arrangement, you have to just press the button that appears, which is called Back to Arrangement View. Great, I'll stop recording. That's a good point to pause.